With his duster flapping around his ankles, he went in search of the farmer to ask for permission to set up camp. To his disappointment, he found that the taciturn widow who owned the place was not inclined to accept a ragtag band of drifters on her land. Burroughs imagined that she must have had trouble from parties like his in the past, but he hoped he could find some way to reassure her. He watched as the mountain woman's skeptical gaze swept from him to his companions, now beginning to tumble out of their odd assortment of cars and trucks. Then he saw her eyes turn from his friends to the field of sweet corn, just beginning to ripen under the August sun. Suddenly Burroughs understood the problem. The woman was worried that the boisterous camping party would trample her corn. A farmer himself, as well as a renowned naturalist, Burroughs might have traded on his own name in the confidence that his reputation as a conservationist would win any landowner's trust. Instead, he decided to bank on the fame of his companions. Perhaps the widow had heard of his friends, he suggested, gesturing toward his stout, cushy companion from New Jersey and the lanky mechanic from Dearborn. Their names, Burroughs said, were Thomas Edison and Henry Ford. How had these titans of industry come to join a venerable naturalist on such an unlikely road trip? As it happened, several stories, both personal and cultural, had converged to put John Burroughs and his new friends together on the dusty back roads of the Appalachian South that summer. The proximate cause lay in the budding relationship between Burroughs and Ford, which had begun by chance at the end of 1912, when Ford happened across an article in which Burroughs seemed to disparage the automobile, complaining that the rapid spread of the new technology could only have a negative impact on the natural world and America's appreciation of its riches and wonders. Ironically, it was the car itself that would bring the two men closer together, when their shared interest in Ralph Waldo Emerson's philosophy of self-reliance led them to set out in one of Ford's Model T cars to visit the house where Emerson had lived and explore the old Transcendentalist's New England. By the time that excursion ended, a lasting friendship between the two men had been established, and so had the habit of traveling by car. Around the same time, a change was underway in the long-standing friendship between Ford and Edison. Over the course of their acquaintance, neither of these industrious men had been inclined to take much time off from work. Since the era of their first meeting, in 1896, both had been single-minded in the pursuit of their respective visions, the internal combustion automobile for Ford and the work of his laboratory for Edison. By the middle years of the 1910s, however, each found himself at a career pinnacle. Ford's Model T was the fastest-selling automobile in the United States, while Edison had become the nation's inventor, credited with the incandescent lamp, phonograph, and motion pictures, and the man the public most trusted to drive the engine of American progress and to solve whatever problems they faced. When the organizers of the 1915 Panama-Pacific International Exposition, being held in San Francisco, proposed setting aside a day to honor Edison at the fair, where the achievements of Ford's Motor Company would also be on prominent display, Ford persuaded his old friend to make the journey to California. The trip proved a great success, not least because both men took a ready interest in the secrets and methods of any kind of manufacturing and production. Strolling through the exhibits at the fair, the two friends gained a broader perspective on their own accomplishments and the modern industrial world they had helped create. While the majority of the fair's exhibits emphasized the triumph of industrialism, however, others played up the agrarian values that had always stood at the other pole of American idealism. These gardens and agricultural displays also attracted the attention of Ford and Edison, amplifying, it seems, their nostalgia for the rural experiences of their Midwestern childhoods, and propelling them on side excursions to visit Luther Burbank's gardens in Santa Rosa and to explore the farmlands of Southern California.